outages, and those violations harmed investors, significantly harmed investors. Part of what FINRA does is recover restitution to those customers, and we're proud to have returned not just have gotten a $57 million fine, our largest ever, but returned $13 million harm.
So Robinhood says that this all happened years ago, and since then it has invested a lot in compliance and has fixed all the issues. Are you confident that it has?
I am happy that we have settled this action with them. I'm happy that they have agreed to fix issues that have already fixed some. It's described in our settlement document. Not all issues are resolved, and that's part of our settlement to include an order to hire a third-party independent consultant to make sure that the remaining outstanding issues are fixed and fully resolved.
When you say that their behavior was egregious, how does that tally up with the fact that they haven't had to formally admit wrongdoing in this settlement?
It is a settlement, and part of the benefit of a settlement is being able to move to closure quickly. Part of our settlement is paying restitution back to customers. Without a signed settlement agreement, we wouldn't be able to get to that point. We also wouldn't be able to get to a point where we could clearly describe the violations, and that benefits not just investors, but also the industry to understand what misconduct to avoid. All of this benefit of a settlement can only be attained with, for us, or can be more quickly attained with a neither admit nor deny. We feel that it gets us to the place we want to be to protect investors and to ensure the market remains fair.
I'm interested, you mentioned there, because it gives clear indication of what was right, what was wrong, and hopefully sets an example. Have they been made somewhat unfairly an example of, because they were so in the crosshairs of media speculation, of talking points in the last year? Is it possible that some of the same actions you're punishing them for have been seen in some of their rivals who are not getting this sort of fine because there is no admission of wrongdoing?
FINRA treats all of our member firms in the same way. We are tough but fair. We want to protect investors and the market, and to do that, we look at all of our firms, whether they're big or small, whether they're new business models or existing business models, in the same way. And our goal is to identify misconduct at the earliest possible moment to limit and
her connection is horrible
as possible. And we did that here. As I said,
this is for educational purposes only.
All member firms in the same way, no matter what the press coverage is.
It's a small victory for all the people who lost money.
Another company like that, or cryptocurrency,
and we pray for the one who lost his life in this family.
Can Robinhood handle it? Can they keep the trades for their customers to avoid what happened?
What you know is that we identified those issues with the outages. We identified the issues that were beholden to the technology that underlies all of Robinhood's critical issues. And we are happy to report that while they fixed some, we are confident that we will be there with a third-party independent consultant to ensure that they are able to do their business in a way that is compliant and protects investors and the markets.
What about the timing, Jessica, of this announcement? Was this necessary to settle with FINRA before Robinhood filed an S-1 to go public, which, as our Kate Rooney said, we're expecting in weeks?
The disciplinary action that we undertook today has nothing to do with the initial public offering, and actually IPOs go through SEC. It's a whole separate function. We really look at the misconduct that we've identified and moved quickly to the disciplinary action without regard for any other events happening in Robinhood.
In terms of broader regulation and broader actions and what we've seen over the last couple of years, are there any conversations you're having, any recommendations you have to some of your fellow regulatory bodies of what you would like to see in this space to make sure that all retail investors are kind of fully educated or acting in the right sort of way for their own interests?
We use our disciplinary actions as a means of communicating the type of conduct that we see that is not in compliance, that violates the rules that are actually designed to protect investors. So we really focus on our registered members and registered representatives and try to send the message that way. We communicate closely, of course, with the SEC. You'd have to speak to them about any actions that they're taking.
Well, we know Gary Gensler's looking into this issue of payment for order flow. Do you guys have an opinion there? Because it's obviously a huge issue around Robinhood. Can the industry function without it?
I can't speak for Gary Gensler and the SEC. I do know that they are looking into that. I know that's an issue that we are also looking into at this point. What we do know is that this disciplinary action today really focuses not on that, but on the broader system issues to ensure that Robinhood has the technology they need and the supervisory systems to make sure that what they do is compliant.
Well, we certainly appreciate you joining us on that topic. Big story today. Jessica Hopper, thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Head of Enforcement at FINRA. And we should